Hello everyone, welcome to Gardening for Better Health. This is Henry B 723 coming to you today from my garden. It's a beautiful day out here today. It's just cold. It's about 18 degrees with a wind chill of 6 degrees. So I'm all bundled up. I'm ready for the weather out here. But I wanted to come check on my garden and to give you an idea of what my garden looks like in the winter. Today is January the 5th, 2025. So it's long past the growing season here in Michigan. I am in growing zone 6B. So most things are everything is out of my bed basically for the winter, except for one thing that I'm overwintering and one thing that is a perennial, and I will tell you about those in a second. But I hope you all are well. I'm glad you're here, and I wanted to give you a little tour of what my garden bed looks like in January in Michigan. This bed that I'm standing in front of is the only bed that I have something overwintering in. This bed has my German red garlic in it. I planted garlic bulbs, and I planted it November the 19th because it needs to overwinter to come up in the spring here. So this bed is full of garlic bulbs, and it should be a real nice harvest come actually they'll come up in the spring, but I won't get to harvest it until late June, early July, when they'll be ready for harvest. So that's what's in this bed here. One of the things that I did mention in a previous video is that for 2025, I needed to up my production of vegetables. And I'm making arrangements to do that. It's going to be interesting. It won't be hard to do because instead of planting a small amount of things, I'm planting a larger amount of things, and I'm using seeds. So in a package of seeds, you get an abundance of seeds in each pack. Depending on what you're planting determines, how many seeds you get in a pack. But it's not expensive to plant more, and that's what I'm going to be doing this year. So I'll excuse the movement. I'm going to take you with me as I go around the garden. Okay, so, and as I move around to show you things, the camera is going to be shaking, so please excuse the movement. But as I said, this is the bed that has the German red garlic in it. We're going to move this way. And over here in this bed, this is the bed where I planted my rhubarb. Rhubarb is a perennial plant, and this year will be the rhubarb's 3rd year growing in this bed. The rhubarb is very, very prolific. It does not have any problems with the cold weather here in Michigan, and I usually get between spring and when it stops producing in the fall, 3 or 4 harvests of rhubarb out of this bed. So I'm very, very happy with my selection of the rhubarb perennial, and I bring it in and I make wonderful rhubarb pie. So it helps to be able to even grow your own desserts as well as your own vegetables. So let's move down a little bit. In this next bed, actually these next 2 long beds, the long narrow beds, I had asparagus growing in these beds, and they did okay for 2 years, and then it just got out of hand in terms of the tall bush portion of it that would come every year. And that's the part that would do dropping of seeds. So it was taking up a lot of space, and it really wasn't giving me a lot of asparagus. So I decided to let that asparagus go. I cut it down. And so for 2025, I'll be planting something different in these two long beds. And it gives me an opportunity to try something new. I like doing new things. I like trying new things, experimenting with different types of things that I haven't had before. And so I'm going to experiment with things in these two beds. So I'll be going through my seed books, and also I have seed packets to determine what do I want to plant in these two beds. So that's the plan there. And I had also said I was going to plant more. If you look in the background, you'll see over there 5-gallon buckets, and then the black bags are 20-gallon smart bags. So I will be able to grow more using those things in addition to the beds. So we're going to move down some more. Okay. And this bed here, the round one, I had my onions growing last year. And I'm going to move a little closer so you can see it. Yeah, I had onions growing in that bed. I'm not going to put onions in that bed this year because I want to rotate the onions. So I'll put something different in that bed. I don't know what yet, but I will be using that bed for something other than onions. I do have my onions ordered from the onion company. I usually order my onions in December, and they will send me my little onion sprouts, the starts, when it's time to plant them in the spring. So that's already coming. I'm glad. So let's move around a little bit more. And as you can see, I have pots here, and in those pots there, I usually do tomatoes, and so I'll be planting more tomatoes in these pots for 2025. So let's move around some more. Over to the other side, and on this side I have two large beds, and I use these two large beds for a number of different things. Last year I had two different things harvested. I had white potatoes in these beds, and then I harvested the white potatoes, and then I planted brassica in these two beds. I had greens and cabbage and some other green vegetables in these two beds. So if you time your planting right, you can use the same bed to plant multiple things and get multiple harvests, depending on when the things you plant, how long they need to mature, and harvest them, and then plant right in after you condition the soil, plant something else behind it, and you can use your beds for multiple things throughout the year. So that helps a lot too. So let's move down some more. And as we move down here, you'll see that there is another round bed right here. And this is the bed I plan to plant my onions in. Instead of the bed in the back, I'm going to plant them in here. So that should work out very well. And also, if you look down, I have a lot of 5-gallon buckets, and I will be planting a lot of things in those buckets, different things. And because I wanted to up my planting game, if I want to plant more than what I have buckets and bags for, it's not difficult to go and get more buckets and more bags. So that's what I plan to do here. And what I'd like to do is have you think about, are you gardening this year? Are you already gardening? Are you thinking about gardening? If you're thinking about gardening and you haven't started yet, this is a good time to do it. 2025 is the year to begin gardening if you have not. It's the year to begin gardening if you have not already. So I would suggest you go ahead and follow me on my channel. You don't have to plant what I'm planting. Plant what your family likes. Plant what grows in your area. And I will be showing you what I'm planting and how I do it. And then you decide if that will work for you. And if you think it'll work for you, try it. It won't hurt anything to try. Let me know what you plan to plant and how you plan to plant. Are you going to be using the raised beds? Are you going to be using 5-gallon buckets? Or are you going to be using the smart pots? Are you planting in ground? Are you planting things on your deck? Think about how you'd like to plant. And let me know. Put it in the comments below how you plan to plant your garden for 2025. I will be going through my seed packets soon, because I start seeds indoors. It's too cold outside to start anything out here. So I'll make a decision as to what I'm going to plant, and I will start my seeds indoors. I will take you along in another video for that process. So in the meantime, I want you to have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you can follow me along on the gardening that I'm doing for 2025. Have a wonderful day. Bye.